Welcome back to a brand new video. I know it's been quite a while since I've last uploaded, like 8.5 months to be exact. And the only thing that I can say about it is just life happens. Today's review is on Only Murders in the Building, the first 3 episodes of season 5, as they were released on Hulu, I think around midnight today, and I will be giving out my review, recap, and alongside thoughts about what I think is going to happen for season 5 of this crazy TV show. And before I do all of that, please like, subscribe, comment, give me suggestions for video ideas, follow me on Instagram, Letterboxd for more reviews on different movies, TikTok. It is what it is. So no more talking, here we go. The first episode of season 5 was entitled Nail in the Coffin, and some of the bigger moments that happened in here was Lester's funeral, of course, and the fact that police are trying to rule Lester's death as an accident. And that just leads into the first big conspiracy of the season. Who is trying to make it seem like Lester's death was an accident? Who is paying off the cops to make it happen? And why are they trying to make it seem as if like his death was a freak accident? Like the way that he was positioned, the blood in the water, it's just too much of a coincidence for it to be considered an accident. And Charles, Oliver, and Mabel all believe the same as well. Like, this was no ordinary accident. This was a cold-blooded murder. And their suspicions continue to increase as Oliver's shrimp from the wedding had a mysterious extra item added to the shrimp, which was a missing finger. Like, is it Lester's? Did somebody accidentally cut their finger off and didn't say anything? Like, whose finger is this? The trio decides to intervene at Lester's funeral and try to check and see if all of his fingers are intact. And unsurprisingly by Charles, of course, he just has to make it weird with how he is just handling Lester's body, how he's trying to see whether or not he has all of his fingers attached. And in this moment also, we were introduced to a few new characters that I think will be a big presence in season 5. Randall, the new doorman, Lester's replacement, is in here. Lorraine, Lester's wife, is also in here, and as well as just Mayor Tillman, played by Keegan-Michael Key. And I think with Mayor Tillman, I have a feeling his character is supposed to be like a satirical version of different politicians around America. But I also think that there's a chance that Mayor Tillman could be a shady individual that might have some shady business dealings alongside. As the investigation on trying to find the identity of whether or not Lester had all of his fingers attached fails, the trio finds new evidence of Nicky the Caccimelio and Lester apparently know each other due to a photograph that was taken at Oliver's wedding with those two talking. And as a result, the trio decides to visit Staten Island to talk to Sophia Caccimelio and her gang of misfit children. Like, the fact that they were all scared of a human finger is understandable, of course, but at the same time, all of them just like running the hell away was just kind of funny, to be honest. And Nicky the Caccimelio apparently has a long history of disappearing during different times. The business of the dry cleaning services, and just her being worried and just not having the best ideas about Nicky the Caccimelio. And yeah, like, the investigation is off to a bit of a rocky start. The trio having a missing finger, the trio trying to figure out whether or not this is Lester's or possibly Nicky's, and Sophia gives Charles a mysterious deck of cards, and at first it seems like these cards might not be anything special, but the more you look at it, like Charles did, they contain hidden messages, numbers, a map, and it all leads to the biggest reveal of the Arconia for this season. The Arconia having a casino. And honestly, I am not surprised. Like, what more secrets does the Arconia have? From hidden passageways, now a casino. What more does the Arconia have? What secrets does the Arconia have in hand? As Charles and Mabel make the big discovery of the freaking casino, Oliver in the meanwhile is doing his own investigation with Lester's hat and taking it to the dry cleaners where all of the clothes were handled. And Oliver makes a freaky discovery of not only Nicky the Caccimelio, but Nicky the Caccimelio being the latest t-shirt in the series. And yeah, episode 1 just ends on a pretty bizarre note. A casino, the Velvet Room, Nicky the Caccimelio being confirmed on a t-shirt. Like, my god. Episode 2 was entitled After You, and this was my favorite episode out of the first 3 episodes of season 5, as this episode was a POV flashback type of episode showcasing the life of Lester the doorman, how he became a doorman at the Arconia, what he aspired to be in life, how he got to meet his future wife, how he got to meet Nicky the Caccimelio, and just the unfortunate timings of his death as the season goes on. But in life, there are many people who aspire to be something special, who aspire to be something. And with Lester, that's nothing different, as Lester had dreams of becoming an actor, and he thought of working at the Arconia to be something just temporary while he tried to look for work as an actor. But with life, things happen. Trying to accomplish your dreams while trying to make money to survive is never an easy feat. And sadly, Lester never became an actor. And one of my favorite things about this episode was seeing all of the past and current residents at the Arconia, the ones that are still alive and the ones that are sadly gone. Like, we got to see Tim Kono hanging out with Mabel and her friend, Alfia, Bunny from season 2 hanging out with Uma, doing her lottery numbers, etc. Saz just hanging out with Charles while they're doing work on Brazos, and young Oliver trying to do whatever he's trying to do, and as well as just with Oliver's family, Teddy Dimas and his son, Howard and his mom. And it was all just interesting to see how everyone was before all of the dark times that will soon take place at the Arconia happens. But I really hope that in this season we finally find out more about Mabel's aunt. Like, who is she? Is she someone that has connections to the mob? Is she married to someone with mob ties? Or is she someone that has mob ties of her own? That is one of the biggest mysteries that this show has, and maybe, just maybe, we'll finally find out more about Mabel's aunt and where has she been for the past 5 seasons. But yeah. But Lester, though, he had an interesting life at the Arconia. He met his future wife, and the way that they show us like the timeline of them in the talking stages to eventual marriage stage was pretty wholesome to see. And I also find it a little bit mind-boggling that Lester and Nicky the Caccimelio knew each other for nearly 30 years and how they got to know each other, how Lester helped out Nicky with his casino, the Velvet Room, and just the things of that nature. And the fact that he was actually trying to stop with the shady dealings with Nicky, and Nicky basically saying that you will stop until I say you can stop. That just leaves me to say that, yeah, Lester was doing something that he wasn't happy doing and he was trying to stop. But one quote that I found interesting in episode 2 was the quote of, "The less you know, the better." That leaves me to a possible fear that what if Lester saw something too much on the night on his death? What if Lester actually saw Nicky getting murdered, and as a result, the killer or killers took out Lester to make sure that nothing happens? That's just a small theory that I have. I could be completely wrong, but that's just something that I thought of. But the episode just continues with just showing us more about Lester's life, how he became extremely paranoid after the 4 murders that have taken place in this show, from Tim, Bunny, that actor in season 3, Saz in season 4, and how Randall, the newest doorman, was eventually introduced. But the episode just ends with just us showing just small bits and pieces of Lester just running for his life against the killer, and the killer just taking his elevator key in a garbage bag or some sorts. But yeah, episode 3 was entitled Rigor, and it goes back to where episode 1 ended off, with Charles and Mabel discovering the Velvet Room, aka the casino in the Arconia, and Oliver discovering Nicky, the Caccimelio, dead body at the dry cleaners. And what I consider to be the boldest thing the trio has ever done, with not only Oliver taking the dead body back to the Arconia, but them just examining a dead corpse, trying to get more clues and information on how Nicky could have possibly died. That is one of the most boldest things the trio has ever done. Because had the wrong person entered at the apartment, or even Detective Williams entering the apartment to see what the hell they were doing, automatic arrest, jail sentence, too many questions with not enough answers, to be honest. But yeah, they've done some crazy things, but I think them examining Nicky the Caccimelio's dead body on Charles's table and just trying to get more information is the boldest thing they have ever done, and trying to place the body back at the dry cleaners before it's too late. But yeah, who did Nicky piss off so bad to the point he was chopped, he was stabbed in the chest with a meat cleaver? Like, who did he piss off so bad to the point that they just did that? And what did he know also that resulted in his and maybe even Lester's death? Because I think there is a possibility that Lester's and Nicky's death are connected because of how the police were acting at the dry cleaners. When Charles places the body back at the dry cleaners, the police being corrupt in this case is not surprising, with how they're saying, "I thought the dead body was supposed to be hanging up." But they're like, who cares? We're going to blame it on another family of some sorts. And because of that, I think there's a huge possibility that there's probably going to be like a huge battle between different crime families in this season because of the police, with the Cacciemelios possibly going after the family that the police accuses of killing Nicky, trying to make sure that maybe both families take each other out and the killer or killers continue to be in control of what they're doing and just fill the pockets of the police, maybe the organized crime families, maybe the mayors, just anyone that is in power of something, because these deaths are no accident, and the killer or killers know what they're doing. But for the rest of the episode, the investigation continues, and as well as just a brand new residence moving in at the Arconia. Mabel's former friend Althea is now a new resident at the Arconia, and my first impressions on Althea, I think Althea is someone that is a horrible person in general, that likes to belittle people that are not either famous enough or are just not important, because their conversation between Mabel and Althea was a little weird, and Mabel saying that they're not friends at all could definitely be something that is explored in season 5. Like, why are they no longer friends? What happened between that? And maybe, just maybe, Althea does know more information about Mabel's aunt, like what kind of person that she is. Maybe we'll see flashbacks between these 3 characters. I don't know, but I think Althea on the first hand is not going to be a good person, but it's just going to be someone that is just a scumbag, and maybe even someone that gets their hands in too many in the wrong places. But the episode just basically ends with just the trio going back to the casino to possibly see the next game that is at hand, and we are introduced to a few new characters that I think will be a big hand at this season, with all of them being different billionaires, with one of them being worth 53 billion, 19 billion, and 47 billion dollars. And another interesting tidbit is Jay, the billionaire worth $19 million, arm is messed up, and it seems as if that he might be missing a finger. Like, is he the one with the missing finger that was found on the shrimp platter, or is this just a huge red herring that just leads to a bigger conspiracy in later episodes? But yeah, that was the first 3 episodes of Only Murders in the Building season 5. When it comes to my suspect list that I have, I think it is way too early to tell about possibly identifying suspects, but I'm just going to give it a shot because I know I'm probably going to be 100% wrong, but you just never know nowadays. The first suspects that I have in mind are the top 3 billionaires, Bash, Camila, and Jay. And the reason why is simple. They are all billionaires, and if they really wanted to, they could easily get into the pockets of higher ups in New York City, from police, politicians, mayors, hell, even organized crime families. Like, I know it's like a huge red herring, but they're all billionaires, and if they really wanted to cause some damage, if they really wanted to cover up evidence, they have the money to do so and could get away with it easily. Another suspect that I have in mind is Randall, the new doors man. I don't know, like, there is something about him that is just a little bit off-putting. He's doing horrible at his job. He has the ledger that Lester gave him, so there's a possibility that maybe he already knows about what is going on with Lester, Nicky, and what if there's a possibility that he was there at the night of Lester's killing and saw Lester know too much, and maybe the killer is probably like, he could probably change this man's life if he kills Lester. And because the elevator key is missing, and whoever took it used a trash bag to get it. So yeah, Randall the doors man, another suspect at hand. But I definitely do think that Lester's wife Lorraine knows a lot more about the bird names. She knows a lot more, in my opinion, and I think that the trio somewhere down the line are going to talk to her to figure out more information. But yeah, like, whoever this killer is someone with connections, someone that that has the pockets of many different people, police, possible politicians, possible gangs. Doesn't matter. Like, this is going to be something crazy. But we will see what happens throughout the season. And I would say, if you're still here watching, thank you for watching. More videos will be out. Until next time.